Today we're building industrial media shelving with hanging planters. We'll use pipe, lumber, stain, and paint. Alright, let's rock. I wanted to design industrial-looking shelving with a bespoke aesthetic inspired by luxury interior or lifestyle brands like Restoration Hardware or a TV wall that otherwise would feel plain. My goal was a built-in statement piece that elevates the space's quality and visual appeal while providing an accent of thoughtful innovation for an intriguing sense of warmth. After doing some research and inspiration gathering, what I liked most were pieces that balance weathered reclaimed woods, smooth metals, and plants with abundant negative space and minimalism of form. I started with rough sketches to visualize different configurations and designs, and what I came up with was a shallow shelving unit that framed the TV with white space, exaggerated the ceiling height, and incorporated the utilitarian feature of hanging planters near a window to take advantage of the natural light source. Essentially, the design uses 4 main vertical lines of galvanized pipe, a 5th vertical line for light supplemental support and aesthetic value, 4 horizontal shelf lines fixed by pipes that run through drilled holes with supports under each from right angle pipe connections. The unit is attached to the wall by using screws through makeshift adjustable flanges and is secured further with small brackets into the studs. To start, I measured the wall and TV to later use an Adobe Illustrator at 100% scale. Next, I sat on the couch where the TV will primarily be viewed from and pulled a tape measure from the floor to eye level to find the ideal viewing height. Eye level, or slightly below, will be the center of the TV screen. Using the center measurement and size of the TV, I used a laser level to help applying painter's tape easier. That way I could check the actual location of the TV on the wall before actually doing any drilling. It looked good, so I moved on to finding the nearest studs to attach the TV. I used a stud finder and painter's tape to mark each location on the wall and compare the center to the bolt locations. With the TV mount on the wall, the bolt locations on the bracket didn't align, it had to be moved to the left. Luckily, the TV mount allowed for horizontal adjustment to make placement easier. Essentially, the bracket is attached to the wall studs, and then the back of the TV has these little hangers that hook onto the bracket, and then you can slide the entire TV back to center. I ensured the bracket was straight with a small magnetic level and then attached it using the included hardware. I had someone help me lift the TV up and hang it on the bracket, slide it to center, and then I tightened the set screws and I was done. Before drawing anything in Adobe Illustrator, I purchased and measured only 1 pipe part each from the idea that I had in the sketch. With those dimensions, the wall, and the TV all captured, I could now create the shelf plans to scale. To understand the actual pipe dimensions against my design, some basic math was required. First, it was necessary to factor in how much total length is added to a pipe after being fully threaded inside a connection. That way I could achieve the desired visual length. Drawing it at full size allowed me to understand the finished lumber sizes, whole lumber sizes, and desired shelf heights with corresponding assembled lengths of pipes and connectors underneath. So I took my material list to the hardware store, noting the exact measurements, and as long as I marked each pipe myself, they cut and threaded the pipes to the specifications at no additional cost. When I got home, I brought the parts inside and mocked up a few lengths of pipe to understand whether I was happy with the depth and the overall height. And it looked good, so I moved on to the lumber. I measured and cut 1 shelf according to my plan so that I could test a small section of the shelving as a mock-up in my garage. After the shelf was cut, the next step was to explore the best aesthetic and structural drilling location for pipes to fit through. I tested a few variations on some scrap wood using a hole saw bit slightly larger than the circumference of the pipe. I just threaded one lower section and one upper section together in pre-assembled groups and then fit them through the hole on each end of the lumber and then threaded them together. It looked great, so I moved on to the remainder of the lumber measuring and cutting so that I could mock up the bulk of the shelving. I used a random orbital sander to prepare the shelving for stain, starting with an 80 grit, then 180, then 220. To achieve a weathered wood look, I created a distressing tool by driving random nails and screws through a furniture leg that I could use to hit the lumber with. I tried to cluster some holes like beetlewood and hit some random places with a neoprene hammer. Last, I dragged an angle grinder to skim across the surface. Next, I tested several stains on scrap wood to find the perfect tone to match my coffee table. First, I used a wood conditioner to prepare the surface, let it dry for about 10 minutes, and applied the first coat of stain using a small sponge. Once that dried, I brought it in to evaluate against my coffee table, and it was close, but I felt like it was too clean. So I added a little bit more distressing and applied a darker brown into the recesses and then wiped it off with a larger sponge. I was pretty happy with the character of the shelves now, so I moved on to the pipes. Because cutting oil is needed to cut and thread the pipes, it's necessary to wash the inside and outside of the pipes with soap and water before painting. I decided to use a pipe wrench to pre-assemble and tighten all vertical and horizontal pipe groupings and segments above and below the shelves while measuring each group against my plans. This would allow me to save any potential paint damage later during final assembly, so I loosely threaded each group together in 4 vertical segments to make painting easier and sprayed them with satin black paint. Once the paint and wood stain was dry, it was time to bring all finished materials inside for assembly. But before I started, I wanted to protect the flooring from damage, so I traced the outside edge of the base couplings and right angle supports onto white backing of adhesive neoprene sheets. I cut them out using scissors and then hand applied each one. I started the assembly from the bottom and then worked my way up, putting the pre-assembled pipe groupings through the shelf and threading them into the pipe groupings below. Always checking the length of each against my plans. The entire unit at this point was resting against the wall without being secured, and considering how heavy it is, I was definitely worried about it falling over, hurting me or someone else. So if you're going to build one like this, please prioritize safety. Once each section was threaded together and matched the plans, I checked if it was level and plumb before attaching to the wall. I marked each hole in the upper couplings onto the wall, swung them to the side, and applied drywall anchors or a screw into the stud. I attached the horizontal pipes to the underside of the top shelf, and I was ready to add some accent decor. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and for more cool ideas, please subscribe.